All right, so this is a second live stream that I am putting together for the Ebike Products Channel, and I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. And today I wanted to talk about batteries and what's happening in the battery industry and why I think it's going to change so many things as far as the usability and in fact the popularity of e-bikes. It is already getting pretty crazy how many people are getting e-bikes and how things are going. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the technology that's been coming out and this rabbit trail that I kind of jumped on recently. And I'm going to bring up a screen about a guy who was talking. I mean, he has a channel called Undecided by Matt Ferrell. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring him up so that you can see his channel here. Now, with his channel being here, I'm going to get myself out of the way. Oh, wrong one. Get me out of the way here. And this is his channel. And I highly recommend, if you want to follow up more with what I've been talking about here, that you check out this channel, Undecided with Matt Ferrell. He is like some really super smart, very entertaining, super educational about a lot of stuff in just the tech industry in general, everything that's going on, and high scientific type items. Now, one short disclaimer before we go forward with this is I didn't even pass chemistry when I was in high school, so I'm not going to try to explain all the battery chemistry and everything that's going on with this, but I do want to talk about how battery technology and battery advancements are changing so quickly that e-bike batteries, in my prediction, by the end of 2025, may be able to have something just the standard size battery like this, or even something just like we have in our electric bikes, our folding style. And these are very common style batteries. These could potentially go from 300 to 500 miles on a single charge, taking only 20 minutes to recharge after that. And why this is going to be possible is he starts to explain, this guy Matt, in this video here. When I came across this article or this YouTube video, he was talking about how solid state is actually now in the market. Now, the reason I also wanted to talk about this is because back in 2020, back 3 years ago, I posted this video about the battery we've been hoping for is already here with 2.5 times capacity and half the charge time. And what I was talking about was basically this graphene lithium batteries that are available that came in this bike that was being sold by a company that I had actually done some of their batteries or their bikes in the past. And it was a graphene, they actually claimed it had a graphene battery in it. And the graphene technology, when I looked into it, was absolutely mind-blowing. Again, 2.5 times charge and capacity for the same size. And they were claiming some pretty amazing things. I mean, they said that you could charge this battery in basically half the speed or even way more, but you would have to get a 5 amp charger. So that makes sense. You have to be pushed into it, but some things that didn't actually really add up. The battery life wasn't what it cut out to be. It didn't do everything that I thought. But now with solid state batteries, we're going to have something completely different. And the reason why Matt did this video is because prior to that, he did this video over here. Solid state is coming sooner than you think. And when he did it 2 months ago, I guess he got a lot of flack for it. A lot of people were just kind of bouncing on him about it not really being real. So he brought this video out most recently 6 days ago. When I came across it, I got super excited because he makes some really good points, and I highly recommend. I'm going to put all the links to his stuff below in the comments when I get a chance. I'm still learning how to use this platform for live streaming, so forgive me if I'm not seeing comments and things that are being posted because I don't know how. Oh, I guess I have to sign into the chat. Well, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and continue with this because I won't be able to see. I forgot to set up my iPad so I'd be able to see comments, things that are coming in. But in the meantime, I want to talk about these cells. And these are your standard cells that you have in here. And what they're talking about now is that these solid state batteries that are in there, one, I guess the biggest concern for a lot of e-bike batteries or concerns that people have is that the potential for fire. Now, yes, there is a potential for fire for e-bike batteries. I'm not going to try to go ahead and smash the concerns about that. But I do want to say that if you do take care of your batteries and you understand that the likelihood of them catching on fire is actually quite low, as long as you're taking care of them properly, which means that if they're not damaged, make sure they're not damaged. And he talks a lot about the differences of the different batteries out there. But here's the big thing, is that these batteries here, now, oh, I'm sorry, you really can't see this because the battery is green and I'm using a green screen. Anyway, the battery here, let me go ahead and show you what the battery does look like. So this is what the battery looks like. I took a picture of it, but it does have this warning: battery may explode or fire if mistreated. Do not disassemble or dispose of in fire. Do not charge except for specified charging. So, there's a warning. This is actually a high grade 18650 cell that actually is put in there. And you will, let's see, how's the best way to put this? You would have a concern for these batteries to actually catch on fire if they're not taken care of properly. Now, the thing about it right now is that he got a lot of flack because he was saying that a lot of people were commenting saying that these batteries aren't on the market yet. And what he's holding in his hand is actually something he bought on Amazon called the Yoshino Solid State Portable Power Station. Now, this is what excited me because 3 years ago when I talked about the graphene battery here, my mistake was it was not going to be hitting the market soon enough. And this one here, I mean, although they claimed that it was on there, I thought that meant it would be mass produced sooner or later where graphene would be used in the batteries, making it safer in charge. But it wasn't going to be for a few years there. There's actually some glass solid state batteries that are in production or on their way to be made, but they weren't economically, I guess, viable as an affordable means to go ahead and make it work. So people were saying it would be a few years down the line. Now, of course, like I said, I put this up a few years back, and 3 years ago, and the graphene lithium batteries are not yet available in the market. And the one that was promised or that was in this bike, I mean, they did use graphene, or so they claim. I don't know if it was actually used properly or the way that I was thinking. I don't know if it did everything that it was. It didn't have that much of a higher capacity. It really didn't charge that much faster. And I don't know how they could have kept the price down. So I have my doubts, put it that way. But I'm not, again, a chemist, or I'm not someone who understands this, a physicist that actually figures out how these things work. But I do know that these power stations now, Yoshino is the first in the market to have this put out. And it is a legitimate solid state battery. So now that it is being mass produced and it is in price point, it's a little higher because it's still a little more, it's newer technology, first generation of these cells that are coming. But look, they even have a power station, 2000 watts, 1279 that's out here, which is not far off from this one here, which is 2200 watts. I'd have to go back into a little more deeper into it does have half the power. I mean, as far as half the capacity, this is 1300 watt hours versus 2300 watt hours. So there's some differences that are coming out there, but you got to think about how much solid state batteries are going to be affected. So I do see a comment here from J. Josh that says, would I be able to buy this for my bike? I honestly don't know. At this point right now, no. But I do believe by the end of 2025, if technology advances as fast as we're thinking, and it's already being mass produced in the market, I do believe that it's potentially going to be possible. Now, I was wrong 3 years ago talking about how the other ones, but the thing is, these are being sold. So which means that there are companies that already have the manufacturing in place. And in fact, they are in e-bikes today. And Stromer, so there are a bunch of articles that have come out after. This was Zhengbu that actually had the graphene, but now Stromer today is actually talking about, they already have this launching. They have batteries being made for their bikes coming out. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to hopefully bring this up. Yeah, you can see these prices for these bikes are as much as cars, $13,000 or $14,000 for their bikes here. This one actually has the pinion gearing, which Electric Ebikes is coming out with the Electric One, which has that special gearing in it, which is automatic shifting, which is pretty cool. And it's not uncommon for that gearing to be put in there. But for the batteries, I don't think these have it in there yet because they're saying it's coming out next year. But they are on the cutting edge of being an advanced company, and you can see news on this here. Solid state batteries of the future. This is actually put out last year in July 20. 23 and talking about how Stromer has started at the e-mobility convention. They had talked about it, that they were coming out with their first batteries that are going to be solid state. And I have another article from, I think it was from Electric. Here's actually, I want to talk about a little bit about the graphene batteries versus lithium-ion batteries that were brought up earlier. So the graphene batteries, the technology that were in them to go ahead and make them into the lithium-ion versus the lithium-ion that we're currently used today, you can see here everything. Energy density, power density, charge time shorter. Everything is definitely a benefit with going with graphene in them. Now, with solid state, I think they're going to potentially mix graphene into them at the same time. I'm not completely sure with it, but they are definitely using compounds that are going to be solid. The problem with lithium batteries today, like the one that I had showed you, is that they have either a liquid or a gel within the battery itself that I guess can be pierced as it gets older or if it gets damaged, and they can explode. And that's been a big problem. So let's see if I can find, I have it here, some articles that were written by some other companies. These are all talking about the batteries, the non-flammable graphene lithium batteries that promise to end e-bike fires. And of course, this is January 2024. So these are still in the minds of everybody who is actually working for it, especially the automakers. Now, the automakers are really big about what they're talking about with these batteries. Again, some more. These articles are all talking about nanotech energy. This is a company that is really touting it. So all these came out kind of at the same time, which I missed. I'm a little late to the game talking about this, but I am very interested to see what's happening. And I would like to go ahead. It's kind of fun. I don't think I'm going to actually get any kudos if I'm right, but I do believe by the end of 2025, we are going to see solid state batteries entering the market on e-bikes. And when that happens, we're going to see batteries like this, the same size, that can go double or triple the mileage. Now, this is from an Electric 2.0, an XP2, and this one can probably go, I think it was 25 to 35 miles with, now you're going to be able to go almost 10 times that. And the battery will also be lighter. If they are able to squeeze everything into the same size of a battery, that would be super beneficial for batteries. Also, the weight's going to be lighter. They also have already solid state batteries being operated in buses. And this is Mercedes-Benz is touting how these buses that they're coming out with have some really amazing technology that's being put in. Let's see if this... Sorry about the volume. There's a little loud, but basically what they're saying is that there's these buses are already going to be running with this higher end technology. Now they're touting more the bus comfort and everything else, and not so much the battery, but the technology is there. It's actually going to be already put into these, and that's something that pretty much looking forward to, because if the buses are being put in, Mercedes doing it, then cars are going to be put into it. And I know that Tesla is also working on their own battery. I don't know if they were actually specifically talking about solid state, but there's some articles about that. So you're talking about all of these different companies talking a lot about what's going on with lithium. The thing is, we also need to keep in mind that it is still very expensive today. With lithium batteries, and that is something that, let's see, the Tesla battery technology. This was a very interesting article, or I guess video, that I had watched about that as well. So we have batteries which, if you could think about what would happen once these batteries can hit 300 miles on one single charge, and it only, basically you'd only have to charge it once a week, and it would take only 20 minutes to charge. Delivery in itself could be completely turned around. I saw that Michael from Electric also went to China recently, and he was talking about how when you stand still at a corner and you watch all this traffic start coming by, that it's really eerie where you hear almost no noise because most of their scooters today, which there are thousands of scooters on the road over there, are all electric. And, there's only a few that are still maybe gas ridden. And then also he was talking about how the cars, you can tell by the license plates, I guess if it's an EV, then it has a green license plate versus a combustible engine, which is going to be a blue license plate. And he says like more than half of the vehicles he's watching go by were all electric vehicles. And the smog and the air quality in China has gotten so much better from what it used to be in the past, where everybody was wearing masks all day long and you could actually see the pollution flying by you. It was like this cloud or this dust that was coming by, and it's not like that anymore. It's completely clean. So I can see where this is going to be going in the future. We will have to go ahead and, of course, if we have these superchargers that are going to be able to do recharge a car, and I know that Teslas today, some of them can recharge in 15 to 20 minutes. And I heard it's not recommended as well because it does shorten the life of the battery, but it can be done. So they already have these chargers that can recharge car batteries that are that quick. But if we have now batteries that can take that kind of charge, and an average Tesla car can go at 350 miles, maybe 300 miles on a charge, and then you turn those into solid state, which can go double, maybe even up to 2.5 times. So you're going to have a car now on the average going 600 miles, 750 miles maybe. That would be something that's absolutely revolutionary changing. And you're going to have these bikes that'll be doing the same thing. So, I've never been really big on the whole EV car market. One, I couldn't afford it. And two, I don't live in a place that I could actually put in a charger efficiently. I'm a renter. So that's, even people in apartment buildings have issues with that right now. Plus, I'm a little concerned about our infrastructure here in California. From my understanding, we can't even handle just regular air conditioning during the summer. We have to, worry about the brownouts because there's just too much power drain. But I do know there's a power plant down the place that is completely expanding and putting in these huge capacitors. I believe they even look like battery cells that's coming. So I see improvements happening now all around us with this technology, but also with the electricity being able to handle now car charging, because I do see a lot of Teslas in my area now more and more. So those who do own in this area that I live in are able to have Teslas, and it's going to make a big difference with the e-bike industry, because I know there's a lot of people who are really concerned. It was funny. I was actually standing outside talking to a friend on an e-bike, and one of his neighbors was driving by and stopped. And the first thing out of his mouth was, "Are those e-bikes?" And when we said yes, was, "Oh, those things catch on fire." And I don't know. Well, that's all he said. I mean, he didn't even recognize they were e-bikes, so it's obviously not familiar. But the only thing he was familiarized with is that there's this fear of them catching on fire. And I know the same thing happened with Tesla. Everybody's saying, "Oh, they're going to catch on fire," when it's a small percentage of those things happening. But nonetheless, it's not that they don't catch on fire. There is a video that is out there, and I'm sorry I don't have it where I can show it. And it showed one of these cells actually being shot at. And when they shot at it, compared to a regular cell versus a solid state, it did not catch on fire. And the regular one did. So they actually shot it with a bullet, and they could show what happens when the cell gets damaged. And I think it was on one of these that it was toward lower. I don't have it on here. But that is actually today's live stream. Fun that by the end of next year, we're going to have solid state batteries, and just technology alone, we're going to have it already get to the point where it'll be a lot more fun for us who don't want to have to worry about battery anxiety. And then also for those that are the e-bike companies out there with not having to worry about. So there are so many things about solid state batteries that I also want to talk about that are so benefit. Not only are they lighter, not only can they go way farther, not only are they safer, where they actually have a less, like they can still catch on fire. Just don't get me wrong, it's not going to be absolutely 100% safe, but the likelihood it will go down extremely low. I believe there's probably going to be a regulation where they're not even going to allow the standard lithium batteries that are out there to be still continue to be used. But there is also the the faster charging time is also going to be a huge benefit to so many people. But it's the idea that you can recharge these. So this is nothing, is that these batteries will last way longer per charge. And that's really amazing too, because if you think about it right now, I think some of these can go like 800 cycles of charging or so, where the newer batteries with the solid state can go probably up to 2000 and beyond. Now, I was originally thinking if they are making these portable items or these solid state power stations, why can't we just take some of these batteries and then put them into e-bikes right off the bat? Well, apparently these are actually made with certain different compounds that don't discharge as quickly, and that would be necessary for some of our bikes. But it doesn't mean that they're that far away, because if they're going to be making them for cars, they're definitely going to be making them for stuff that we can actually use in our e-bikes. Then, like I said, everything's going to be put into place where I don't think we're going to have to charge hardly at all. In fact, one of the bikes that I have can go, I think it's like 150 miles or 100 miles on a single charge, but the battery weighs, I think, like 30 pounds. It's like super. The Anioki bikes are absolutely amazing, and they are exceptionally heavy. So that's the other thing, is that the bikes will be a lot lighter because of the battery structure. I mean, these batteries weigh a lot. I mean, this one here alone is 5 pounds, and this one I believe was like 8 pounds. And an 8-pound battery, if you can cut that in half, it's a lot of weight. But if you actually keep it at the same weight, but it can go double the distance, then it would be worth it, because the efficiency is just going to be there. It doesn't really matter. Plus, it's an e-bike, right? So we have that. I mean, it's just so many great possibilities with what we have in advance. But I think more so than anything else, I want to say is, what do you guys think? How soon do you think it would happen where the e-bikes will be able to go those kinds of distances? I mean, some of them, like I said, the Aniokis are already going 100 miles on the single charge, but of course those batteries are big. It does take, I think it was 8 to 10 hours to recharge them. How cool would that be with these bikes? I cannot wait till Anioki gets a battery the same size that they have and put it in there with a solid state, because that bike should go easily maybe 600-700 miles. I mean, and it's powerful nonetheless as well. So we have that technology all coming into place. It's way overdue, in my opinion, because, like I said, we had this one company a long time ago come out with their bike that they claimed would be able to, the Zengbu, that had some of the technology put into it. And this was 3 years ago. I did review this bike. They do make good bikes, don't get me wrong. It's just that I think they overhyped the graphene technology of what it could do, and I bought into it. I mean, I got a chance to review the bike. It was really cool. I didn't see the performance I thought I would with it. Now, they did say, of course, that I could have put a 5-watt charger, a 5-amp charger, to really enhance the speed of the charging, but then that does put it at risk. Was the cells really safe? I don't know. The batteries can also handle a lot more capacity as far as, handle a lot more extremes of temperatures. So one of the big things about those that drive EVs in colder weather, they say that their batteries actually maybe lose about 20% of their range when it gets below freezing, because there is like a liquid or that compound that's in there, where for the solid state batteries, you don't have to worry about that. It's going to be more tolerant to the extremes of the heat and cold. So you have so many different benefits to solid state that there is now that Yoshino has put these out, I guarantee there's going to be a race for more batteries to be made. In fact, I asked ChatGPT, because I didn't have time to look everything else up, what kind of batteries are being used in Samsung right now. It's lithium, nickel, manganese, cobalt oxide batteries. Okay, so these are what's being used in the batteries today for them. But I would like to know what is being used in other batteries that are solid state. In fact, where is... Sorry, I'm going to bring up my other screen. Oh, here, the discharge. I think this is... Yeah, oh, so all the other companies that are actually currently using different technology with it. I was asking all about the different wattages, and like I said, I'm nowhere near capable of understanding all of this stuff to the extent where if I did understand it, I probably wouldn't know how to explain it anyway. But I think that's about it. That's all I have today. I thought it would be fun to go ahead and talk about because I've been going down this rabbit trail, really excited about what's going on in the e-bike industry. Stromer, I mean, with $14,000 bikes being sold on the market, I can understand why they're able to invest in higher end technology because they're making some really high end bikes and investing in the newer stuff out there. And there's definitely a market for people who want the newest technology. So I'm going to keep my eye on this company. Like I said, it's the first I've really actually heard a lot of them, and they're really out of my price range. I mean, their cheapest bike is $3,500. Wow. And they do not expect their solid state battery to actually come out until 2025 or later. It's going to be a little later on that. All right, so if you have any questions, I would love to hear it in the comments, or what do you guys think? What's going to happen with the batteries? Do you think that they're going to be able to make it fast enough? I would have avoided this except for the fact that now they actually have solid state batteries in power banks or power stations, and I think that's just one step away for the e-bike industry to take off. It's going to also depend on the demand, and I believe if there is an e-bike company other than Stromer, one of the more affordable lines, like maybe say Rad or Electric or Aventon, all of these top big ones, Giant, or, you know, if any of these companies jump into the market wanting to come out with a battery that's going to be higher end. I mean, Electric coming out with their Electric One with the pinion gearing in it. I think that's one of the indicators that they're going after the higher end market that wants, you know, a little higher end technology in the bikes in there. And that's going to be a killer bike. In fact, for those of you who don't know, I wanted to also make a statement that Electric has committed to keeping their prices down, where a lot of other companies had to raise their prices because of the tariff that got, the tariff exclusion that was keeping e-bike companies from having to pay that extra 25% tariff on all bikes that came into the country. Well, as of earlier this month, when the tariff exclusion got lifted, a lot of companies had to increase their prices, and Electric was one of them that did not. They decided to keep their prices at where they're at. So if you're going to get into the bike or looking into an e-bike and you're seeing a lot of higher prices and you haven't checked out the Electric website, I do recommend checking them out. Also, I did a review recently on the Mooncool Cargo, and I think I saw on their website that they've kept it down for now, but they're going to be raising their prices. So I do recommend you might maybe check that out sooner than later. That's one of the most recent reviews that I've done. But it's an unfortunate thing that prices had to have gone up because of that 25% increase in their cost of goods to come into the country. And I have been hearing that container prices have skyrocketed back up again to almost COVID levels. And that could be another issue with e-bike prices also starting to increase, which, you know, if a company like Electric did not increase their prices previously, they may actually now not be able to hold the prices down because of these container prices that are going. I don't know why. I haven't been looking into why. I've just heard from people who are in the supply chain industry or logistics saying that pricing has gone up quite a bit for things coming into the country. So these are all things that are coming in now with these batteries coming in as well one day in the future. Should you buy a bike now or should you not? I'm going to say right now, and I believe some of the others that are talking about solid state batteries, so don't wait. It's going to be long enough for them to come out and then prices come down where they're mass market affordable, that if you're interested in getting an e-bike, now may not be the worst time to get it. It's a good riding season. We still have probably about 3 or 4, maybe 5 months, depending where you live, of a good riding season ahead of us. And before that happens, as long as you can get the prices that they are today, that might be a good time for us to look into that. There are companies that are going to be hurt really bad with the tariff exclusions being lifted, and now that e-bikes are being affected by it, that we may see some of them disappear. I know that there's been a lot of struggle in the bike industry as a whole. I'll probably do another live cast on that a little later, but that's something I just wanted to bring up. Like this is pretty much the whole extent of today's video. I thank you so much for watching. If you like this, please like and subscribe, but I'd love to also hear, you know, some of your chats or your comments below. And I'll see you guys in the next video.